In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of Guacamaya Tequila right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be taking a look at and doing a tasting review of a new brand to market. The brand is called Guacamaya. Now this brand had sent me bottles for review. Now, one of the things they did is they have high proof versions and they have their standard versions. Their standard versions are all 41% alcohol by volume. Their higher proofs are different. If you'd like to see a review of the higher proofs in another review, make sure you comment below and say high proof. And if we get enough people that respond, I'll do a review of the high proofs as well so you guys can hear about those. I'm also going to do something a little different here. Some people give me some feedback about things they wanted to see in the videos. So I'm going to start making some changes to future reviews, adding a different features and different information. And if you guys like it, comment below and let me know if you like the changes. If so, we'll keep them. And so we'll have some really good content and really good information coming up for you here in the future. All right, so Guacamaya is just now coming to the California market. And if these are good, we will stock it on Ferment and Still, so you guys can purchase it from Ferment and Still and be able to get it all around the country until it gets distribution where we can find it in other stores around the country as well. Now, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into production and talk about how this tequila is made. Okay, so Guacamaya is made at NOM 1621, which is Hacienda Casa Macias. They are located in Tequila, Jalisco. And for this particular tequila, they do something a little different in their production. I was talking to the owner of the brand. He gave me some details about it. And what they basically do is they use the finest agave that they can. And they actually do something a little different. And they try to use their agave as a Capone agave, which means a Capone agave is when it goes, it's starting to go to Quiote. It's at its full maturation, and before it actually grows the full Quiote, they chop the Quiote off and they harvest it immediately. And the reason why they do that is because there's a large amount, the largest amount of sugars in the actual root ball of the agave, because at this time the agave has got all the sugars ready for reproduction, and it puts them into reproduction. And then after it grows the Quiote and goes the seeds and drops the seeds, the whole plant dies. So it uses up all those sugars. So it's key when something goes to Quiote like that, you want to do the Capone style, you chop off the Quiote, harvest it immediately, and then you cook that agave and use it. And there's like an extreme amount of starches, which are converted to sugars. So it makes it really sweet, really like the ripest agave that you could possibly get. So that's the kind of agave they use this, because they really wanted to get agave rich flavor profile in this tequila. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know if it's there, but we'll see when we get to the review. So after they harvest this extremely ripe agave, do Capone or do super premium agave that they find with extremely high bricks, they use a combination in the cooking methods. So half of the batch is cooked in an autoclave and the other half is cooked in a brick orno. And then they blend them together. They combine it. Now, after they are done cooking the agave, they combine them together and they use a roller mill to extract the sugars from the agave fibers. And then they ferment in stainless steel tanks using open air fermentation and natural yeast. They don't pitch any yeast into it. They let the yeast that's naturally in the air do the fermentation. That could be kind of dangerous because you could end up having something that you don't want in there getting in there. But it also makes for interesting tequila, and also makes that every batch is going to be completely different because you're reliant on whatever yeast is in the air at the time. So after fermentation is complete, they then twice distill it using stainless steel pot stills with copper coils. And this particular expression is all bottled at 41%. And I'll get into the barreling for the Repo and the Añejo when we get to doing those reviews. But first, we're going to pop open the Blanco and do a tasting and see what it's all about. All right, so now for the tasting and review part, we'll pour a little bit in the glass. It is, oh, and it is a artificial cork, so we don't have to worry about evaporation or cork drying out. I like artificial corks, and it's got a nice tight fit in the bottle, so we don't have to worry about it evaporating on us. So looking at it in the glass, it coats the glass beautifully. Look at the legs starting to form on that, or tears, or whatever you want to call them, lacing. So it's kind of a nice, viscous, rich, oily mouthfeel to it. Looks beautiful. And they're just really starting to form on it. So it's super thick and oily. Looking at the tequila itself, crystal clear, little dashes of light coming through it. Looks amazing. All right, so as I always say, we taste with our eyes, our nose, and our mouth. So we're going to see what we get on the nose on this. Wow, super rich cooked agave, so super sweet cinnamon and cloves and baking spices. Definitely kind of a sweet fruit, like sweet citrus kind of nose to it too. Definitely on the sweet, fruity side on the nose, which I love a good sweet, fruity smelling tequila. It smells wonderful. And you can tell they use really nice mineral-rich water because it has a nice minerality to it, a nice effervescence on the nose as well. Okay, nose is really good. All right, so let's see what we get on the tasting, on the flavor profile. Now, this is my first tequila for the day, and of course, I need to acclimate my mouth and lips and gums and everything to 41% alcohol by volume, so we'll do that first. We're not trying to discern any flavors or anything right now. Just trying to get the whole mouth and tongue and gums all acclimated to 40% alcohol. Okay, we're good to go. Salud. Coats the mouth beautifully. Nice, silky, viscous mouthfeel to it. Get this really nice, sweet cinnamon and baking spices up front. You can tell they caramelized, they cooked the agave a little bit longer because you get that caramelized sugar, caramelized, almost chocolatey kind of note in it, which I enjoy. But you get the sweet cinnamon and baking spices. You get this nice chocolate caramel-esque kind of note, which comes, it's not additives or anything, but it comes from when they cook the agave a little longer and the sugars and stuff in there start getting caramelization in them. So you can definitely pick that up in it. It's got a really nice flavor profile. I like it. I like it. I think it's definitely enjoyable. And I think if you're somebody that likes rich cooked agave notes in it and then a nice caramelization, caramel and chocolate kind of notes to come through on it, you're going to love this. This is a really nice Blanco. So how would I rate the Blanco to start? I'd give it a solid 4 agave. It's really good. There's definitely something I can enjoy sipping on. There's a little bit of heat in it too that kind of carries the heat through to the finish. So it gives you kind of a medium finish. And on the finish, you get this nice, just caramelized, caramelized chocolate note with a hint of the sweet cinnamon still residual on the tongue. Definitely enjoyable. I definitely could enjoy it with a good cigar. It would make fantastic cocktails as well. Definitely a nice Blanco. All right, so let's take a look at the Reposado now. The Reposado, they do something a little different with the Repo as far as their aging goes. They use 4 different barrel profiles and they blend them together to create the Repo. It's aged for 11 months in French oak barrels. Now, one of the barrels is new French oak, and the second, third, and fourth are previously used wine barrels for Cabernet Sauvignon and Malbec wines. And then what they do is they age them all for 11 months and then blend them together to create this flavor profile. So this should be interesting. I love good wine and tequila mixes because wine and tequila, during the production and stuff, is very similar. And I love the way that wine actually complements tequila when it comes to aging, like the Rosas and stuff that we've been seeing on the market, as well as the other tequilas that have been aged in white Burgundy barrels or Cabernet Sauvignon barrels. I really think wine and tequila actually mix together pretty well. So this is the Repo. So 11 months using 3 different kinds of French oak barrels. So let's, and I love French oak. You know how much I love French oak. So let's take a look at this one in the glass and see what we're looking at. So looking at this in the glass, coats the glass beautifully. Look how thick and viscous that looks. The legs and tears are forming on the glass. Look at that. So you can tell it's kind of a nice viscous, oily mouthfeel to it. Looking at the tequila itself, it is a nice amber color. Crystal clear, no floaties or anything. Looks good. All right, so let's see what we get on the nose on this. Wow. Interesting. So on the nose, I get the sweet cinnamon and baking spices up front, but then you get some really interesting wood notes. Let me see what I can discern from this. It's almost like I'm almost getting like an apple note from it. And definitely like oak and cherry. Almost like a fruity plum note. It's really nice. It's really fruity, but definitely different than what I'm used to from French oak. Yeah, I'm getting definitely like a nice oakiness. I'm getting some vanilla and some caramel notes coming through. Definitely like a tart apple, some cherries, even some plum. It's really nice, really complex, really interesting nose on it. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Salud. Coats the mouth beautifully. Nice, oily, viscous mouthfeel. Coats the tongue wonderfully. Sweet cinnamon and baking spices up front. Nice light vanilla note coming through. A little hint of caramel. Picking up a little bit of the wine notes, like grapiness, fruit notes coming through. Just how nice and viscous this is. It's lovely. Nice oily, viscous mouthfeel. It's some creamy butterscotch notes coming through now. Some chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon and baking spices is definitely still there. Some oak bitterness coming through on the end of it, but not a whole lot. It just kind of balances it out. It's really nice. This is not a light Reposado, though. There's definitely a strong barrel influence on it. But for 11 months, they're really pushing towards the end, where it's almost an Añejo. So they went a long time on it. I think it's good. Now, is there something that I would do different? I probably would say that I'd like to see a lighter barrel influence on a Reposado and like to see more prevalence of the wine. I'm not picking up a whole lot of wine notes from it with the Malbec and a Cabernet being used. I'd love to see more of the Malbec and Cabernet presence if they could do that. But it's really good, really enjoyable. I definitely could enjoy it with a good cigar. And as a sipper, when I'm watching football or something, there's nothing off-putting about the flavor profile at all. Highly enjoyable. I'd rate that one a solid 4 agave as well. This is really nice Reposado. I definitely could enjoy this and would definitely consider keeping this on the shelf. All right, so now we're on to the Añejo. Now, the Añejo aging is pretty much identical to the Repo as far as the blending of the 4 barrels, but it's 30 months instead of 11. So, and according to the brand, they do have an extra Añejo that they're working on, but it's not ready yet. So they're working on really trying to develop an amazing flavor profile for it. So I'm sure once that comes out, they'll send me a bottle to do a review. Okay, so this one is 30 months using 4 barrels, 1 new French oak, and then 3 of them where they're either Cabernet barrels or Malbec barrels, and they blend them all 4 together. But they all have been aged for 30 months. So looking at this in the glass, again, coats the glass beautifully. Nice viscous, oily mouthfeel. Color on this, deep amber. Looks beautiful. Crystal clear. No floaties or anything. On the nose on this one. Definitely getting cinnamon and baking spices. A hint of cherry on this one. Some tart apple. Definitely vanilla and caramel notes coming through. A little hint of butterscotch as well. It smells really good. Nothing wrong with that at all. All right, so let's see what we get on the flavor profile. Salute. Wow, super silky and smooth on the mouthfeel. Rich cinnamon and baking spices. Up front, strong vanilla, caramel, and butterscotch notes coming through. Little hint of cherry as well. I'm not picking up any of the nice, grape notes that I'd like to see, knowing that there's wine barrels in this, but that's okay. This is really enjoyable. Super smooth. I don't like using the term smooth, but super easy to drink. Really enjoyable. I could definitely enjoy this with a good cigar. This is a really nice Añejo, especially if you like a rich, deep Añejo. This one is really rich and deep. And so if you're somebody that likes like the Nuevo Uno Añejo Deep, you'd love this one as well. Really tasty. And at 41%, ABV, a little higher ABV than some of the other ones. So delicious. I would rate this one a solid 4 agave as well. So all of them straight 4 agaves across the board, and really enjoyable. And if you want to see the high proof, they only did a high proof of the Blanco and the Repo. If you want to see a high proof video featuring those two, make sure you comment below high proof or yes, and let me know. And if we get enough people that want to see it, then I will go ahead and put the video together and give it to you guys, because I'm always about doing what you guys want or helping you out. So make sure you do that. If you like the information contained in this video, make sure you click the thumbs up and give me a like. If you're new to the channel, bienvenido, welcome. I keep having these wires go crazy on me. Welcome. If you like unbiased information, unbiased reviews, honest reviews, well, that you've come to the right place. That's all we do. We don't get paid by the brands. You can ask any brands that have worked with us. All they have to do is provide a bottle, a full retail bottle, so we get a fair chance at doing a review with the correct stuff that you'd get when you buy it from the store, and then we'll give them an honest, unbiased review. So if you're interested in that and you want to get some more for informational videos as well, so you're an informed consumer, so you don't make a mistake when you go to the liquor store and buy something you may not possibly like, make sure you click the subscribe button right there and the notification bell next to it, and you get notified every time I post a new informational review or informational video or review. And like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So hey, if you wanted to pick up Guacamaya, I'd recommend it. It's good stuff. Salud. Bye, guys.